In episode 6 of Wrestling in 1990, I am covering New Japan Pro Wrestling. The champions to start the year in 1990 is IWGP Heavyweight Champion Big Van Vader, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Naoki Sano, and the IWGP Tag Team Champions are Masa Saito and Shinya Hashimoto. The first big show of 1990, we have a one-night New Year's Tag Team Tournament won by Masahiro Chono and Shiro Koshinaka. That same night, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Title No. 1 Contenders Tournament would start and would continue for the rest of January, would be eventually won by Jushin Thunder Liger. On January 31st, 1990, Jushin Thunder Liger would challenge Naoki Sano for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, and he would be successful in winning only his second IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. That same night that Jushin Liger won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, the main event was for the IWGP Tag Team titles. Shinya Hashimoto and Masa Saito would successfully defend the IWGP Tag Team titles versus the IWGP Heavyweight Champion Big Van Vader and the Great Kokina. A few years later, you might know Great Kokina as Yokozuna, a two-time WWF World Heavyweight Champion. Speaking of IWGP Heavyweight Champion Big Van Vader, his next title defense would be on February 10th, 1990 at New Japan's Super Fight in Tokyo Dome. This is probably one of Big Van Vader's most infamous matches, Stan Hansen too. This is a interpromotional match between All Japan and New Japan, and this is the match where Stan Hansen pops Vader's eyeball out. This was Vader's third defense of his second reign as IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and it would end by a double countout. This match would live on as an iconic match and one of the most memorable IWGP Heavyweight title matches in the history of the belt. Also on that night, IWGP Tag Team Champion Masa Saito would defeat Larry Zbyszko to win the AWA World Heavyweight Championship. Also on this card, All Japan Pro Wrestling's Genichiro Tenryu and Tiger Mask 2, the future Mitsuharu Misawa, would beat George Takano and Riki Choshu by countout. Also on that card, Jumbo Tsuruta and Yoshiaki Yatsu beat Kengo Kimura and Osamu Kido in another All Japan, New Japan interpromotional bout. The main event that night saw Antonio Inoki and Seiji Sakaguchi beat Masahiro Chono and Shinya Hashimoto. The special guest referee was Luthez. On March 19th, Shinya Hashimoto and Masa Saito would defend their IWGP Tag Team titles, this time versus Scott Hall and Punisher Dice Morgan. Scott Hall would obviously become Razor Ramon in the WWF, winning the Intercontinental title multiple times. Punisher Dice Morgan that same year would become The Undertaker in the WWF. Hashimoto and Saito were successful in defending the title against Dice Morgan and Scott Hall. That same night, Jushin Thunder Liger would make his first defense of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title versus Pegasus Kid. Pegasus Kid was portrayed by Chris Benoit. Jushin Thunder Liger was successful in this title defense. But it would not be the last time these two would meet for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title this year. On April 13th, the WWF, All Japan, and New Japan would put on a super show together. The big match for New Japan Pro Wrestling on this card was an IWGP Tag Team title match that saw Masa Saito and Shinya Hashimoto beat Masahiro Chono and Riki Choshu. The only other title match at this super show was a WWF World Heavyweight title match that saw the Ultimate Warrior defend his newly won WWF World Heavyweight title versus the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Later that month, on April 27th, Masa Saito and Shinya Hashimoto would lose the IWGP Tag Team titles to Keiji Muto and Masahiro Chono. Keiji Muto would later go on to be the Great Muta. Keiji Muto and Masahiro Chono would have their first IWGP Tag Team title defense, beating Shiro Koshinaka and Hiroshi Hase on May 25th. The IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Big Van Vader, at this time is teaming a lot with Crusher Bam Bam Bigelow, and they're facing a lot of the top babyface tag teams. On June 6, 1990, Vader would defend his IWGP Heavyweight title for a fourth time, rematching with Stan Hansen. It would be a successful title defense for Big Van Vader as he would win by disqualification. Also on that card, Shinya Hashimoto would defeat Keiji Muto in the finals of the Kyushu Cup. Shinya Hashimoto, Keiji Muto, and Masahiro Chono are three wrestlers that New Japan is pushing heavily at this time. Hashimoto had been tag team champions with Masa Saito. Muto and Chono are currently the IWGP tag team champions, and Hashimoto winning the Kyushu Cup. These three wrestlers were known as the Three Musketeers of New Japan, a look into the future of New Japan Pro Wrestling's future aces. On July 19th, Keiji Muto and Masahiro Chono would make their second defense of the IWGP Tag Team Championships, successfully defending the titles versus the Great Kokina and the Wild Samoan. The big event of the summer would happen on August 19th, 1990, as New Japan Pro Wrestling's Summer Night Fever 2 would happen, and would see all three titles on the line. The first title match this night saw the IWGP Tag Team titles on the line as Keiji Muto and Masahiro Chono successfully defend the titles versus the Destruction Crew, Mean Mike Enos and Wayne the Train Bloom, who had just lost the AWA World Tag Team titles. The next title match on this card saw the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, a rematch from earlier on in the year as Pegasus Kid defeated Jushin Thunder Liger to become the brand new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. And that would still not be their last IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match together this year. And the main event of Summer Night Fever 2 would see the 374-day title reign of Big Van Vader come to an end as Riki Choshu would become the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion. This would be the start of Riki Choshu's second reign as IWGP Heavyweight Champion. The next big show for New Japan Pro Wrestling would be on November 1st. Once again, all the championships would be on the line. This show on November 1st, 1990 was called New Japan Pro Wrestling Dream Tour 1990. Tiger Jeet Singh would make a return to New Japan on this night, defeating Tatsumi Fujinami by disqualification. And the third match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, Jushin Thunder Liger would regain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, defeating the Pegasus Kid. Liger's second reign as IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion would end at 200 days even, and Pegasus Kid's reign here would end at 74 days. Jushin Thunder Liger would start his third IWGP Junior Heavyweight title reign. I think it's safe to say that Jushin Thunder Liger made the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title the top Junior Heavyweight title in all of wrestling. The next title match on this night would see the IWGP Tag Team Champions Keiji Muto and Masahiro Chono lose their titles to Hiroshi Hase and Kensuke Sasaki. Kensuke Sasaki, another future star for New Japan Pro Wrestling, he would form a tag team in the mid-90s with Road Warrior Hawk. He would change his name to Power Warrior during this time, and he would also win the IWGP Heavyweight title on multiple occasions. Speaking of the IWGP Heavyweight title, it was main event time at Dream Tour 1990, as Riki Choshu would make his first defense of the IWGP Heavyweight title, defeating future ace Shinya Hashimoto. Kensuke Sasaki and Hiroshi Hase would be extremely busy with the IWGP Tag Team titles in the month of December. On December 11th, 1990, they would successfully defend the titles versus Super Strong Machine and Tatsutoshi Goto. And on December 13th, they would defend the titles successfully versus Dragon Bombers, Shiro Koshinaka and Takayuki Iizuka. On December 26th, New Japan would have their final big show of the year, New Japan Pro Wrestling King of Kings in Hamamatsu Arena. A stacked card that would see 3 title matches and the young wrestlers face off against the old legends. The first match we're going to talk about is Jushin Thunder Liger successfully defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title versus Mexico's Negro Casas. This was a very productive year for Jushin Thunder Liger, winning the number 1 contenders tournament in January, then winning the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, holding it for 200 days, having that feud with Pegasus Kid, winning the belt back from Pegasus Kid, finally defending the title for a final time here against Negro Casas. The next match saw Keiji Muto defeat Tiger Jeet Singh by disqualification. The sky was the limit for Keiji Muto. He would win the IWGP Heavyweight title multiple times under Keiji Muto and the Great Muta, win the tag titles multiple times, would go to All Japan, would be the Triple Crown champion multiple times. He retired last year, 2023, and right before he retired, he had won the GHC Heavyweight title in Pro Wrestling Noah. So, a hell of a career for Keiji Muto. Next up, Masahiro Chono would defeat the legend Luthez. Masahiro Chono, who would actually wrestle here in the Maritimes in 1988, another one that would be an IWGP Heavyweight Champion, multiple-time IWGP Tag Team Champion, and NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And the next matchup for the IWGP Tag Team titles, defending their titles for the third time this month, Hiroshi Hase and Kensuke Sasaki would be unsuccessful in defending the titles, though, as they would lose the belts to Hiro Saito and Super Strong Machine. The co-main event, a different styles match, as Tony Helm, the future Ludwig Borga in the WWF, would defeat Shinya Hashimoto by TKO in the third round. Shinya Hashimoto, another one, multiple-time IWGP Heavyweight Champion and Tag Team Champion, Triple Crown Champion in All Japan, NWA Champion. Unfortunately, he would pass away in July of 2005. The main event of this night would see Riki Choshu defend the IWGP Heavyweight title versus Tatsumi Fujinami. Tatsumi Fujinami would win the title on this night, ending Riki Choshu's reign at 129 days. A lot of people thought that this was going to be Riki Choshu's long IWGP Heavyweight title reign, and that this match would be his first really big IWGP Heavyweight title defense versus a huge name like Tatsumi Fujinami. But that would not be the case. Choshu would eventually get his third IWGP Heavyweight title on January 4th, 1992, finally beating Tatsumi Fujinami, holding the IWGP Heavyweight title for 225 days, defending it 4 times, and losing the title to the Great Muta, Keiji Muto. Choshu is definitely one of the more popular stars of the 80s and 90s in Japanese wrestling. He would have left New Japan in the mid-80s and joined All Japan, becoming their PWF champion before going back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's very interesting to see New Japan in 1990 and see the future stars, the Great Muta Keiji Muto, Masahiro Chono, Shinya Hashimoto, would all be IWGP Heavyweight champion. They would all be world champions in different promotions as well. Even today in New Japan Pro Wrestling, there's a youth movement happening. Shota Umino, Yota Tsuji, and Ren Narita. Could this be the new Three Musketeers of New Japan Pro Wrestling? Also, the IWGP Heavyweight title that we were talking about in this video no longer exists. It was replaced with the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship that has a brand new lineage that started with Kota Ibushi. And the final thing I'm going to talk about here is, you look at 1990, there are 3 titles: the IWGP Heavyweight title, Junior Heavyweight title, and Tag Team titles. In New Japan today, there is a lot more titles: the IWGP World Heavyweight title, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, the Tag titles, the Junior Tag titles, the Never Openweight title, the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team titles, the IWGP Global Championship is a belt now, the New Japan Strong title, the New Japan Strong Tag Team titles, the New Japan World Television title. So yeah, a lot more titles than there were in 1990. And with that, I'm going to finish this episode here. I hope you've been enjoying Wrestling in 1990. Next up for Wrestling in 1990, we are staying in Japan, and we are going to be looking at All Japan Pro Wrestling. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.